Good morning, everyone. You are tuned into twitch.tv/bedsores, coming to you live from my sick couch in the chronic illness autonomous zone. I'm your host Alyssa here with my co-host and transcriptionist Earl. Let's get some rest today. Welcome to Toryumon, a 1994 arcade game. I think that's what we do on this channel. Developed by Jamp and published by Sega. The 1994s in our historical record might be winding down, but we still have plenty of strange games to play with, including ones that I've been looking forward to / dreading for a week, and I'll get to why around 9 o'clock. Why did Gooey's xylophone just type the word vulva? This game's about circles. You gotta put them together. This game has sort of a pattern matching element to it, similar to Linky Pipe or SEN-KNOW. Those sort of pipe-based games. There's a certain kinship here because there are patterns on the blocks which need to be matched together. I wouldn't call it a subgenre, but it's a similar sort of driving mechanic. Before we get going with this game, I'm looking at their developer shit here, and I'm not getting a lot. This is their only arcade game. They had some stuff for the FM Towns, the Mac, the Mega Drive and Genesis, the PlayStation, a lot for the Saturn. They mostly worked with Sega, it looks like. I will say that it is kind of funny that this studio also put out an Elfenlied game. FM Towns to me sounds like he was touring with Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. One more thing about Jamp, Japan Media Programming, which was started in 1981. They actually started a subsidiary in the Philippines, which was one of the first game development studios to be in the Philippines. I am going to link some information about that if you feel like it, that I found online. Epi says, so it didn't know what it was getting into when it bought an Elfenlied box set in like 2008. Oh, buddy. Earl has now settled down, and I don't want to disturb her by using the fight stick, so today we're just going to be using my keyboard. So this game is, I assume this is 1-player and 2-player, seem to be aping the general aesthetics of Chinese martial arts. It of course has all the aesthetic pitfalls of a Japanese studio making a game about Chinese culture, you know? So let's stay vigilant about that. But we have these 4 characters to play. We have these 4 characters to play as. I'm gonna pick a girl. Here we go. So there's a fighting game simulacrum happening in the center of the stage. So I'm gonna give you an example of a simple combo. It's like that. You put the balls together. You make the balls touch. That's about as far as my skills go. So sometimes the balls appear in these sort of isolated patterns, but sometimes they are appearing in more parts of it, and garbage always turns into parts with 4 balls. Fucking. The moving wow! The playfield opens up to take us to the next area. Yes, I'm attacking 2 children with a sword. And I do it again. They're battling in front of a place. Now his ball is flashing. I think you should get that looked at. Who won? Hey. Oh, I'm losing this so badly. What happened to me? Did I ever tell y'all about the time somebody said, "What happened to you?" in real life? A stranger said that to me. Me and Baby B-Ball were on a bus from New York. There was this kid with an acoustic guitar who was harassing my friend. The person in the seat next to me helped us through that situation a little bit, and then we were just talking. She had this purse full of electronics that she didn't know how to use. Tons of them. She mentioned that her husband passed away, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And she was like, "Don't be." So I was like, okay, master thief, maybe killed her husband. Awesome, awesome. I had brought along some scrambled eggs to eat, and they were just in a strawberry container, you know, one of those containers with holes in it. And she sort of looked at that and went, "Oh, you need to treat yourself at least as well as you'd treat a baby." That was so nice. Once you take the bus out of New York, you go through the Lincoln Tunnel, I think, and then you're going down 95. The highway soars over these low swamps with factories spewing smoke in the distance. And I find it very beautiful. So I told her, you know, I think this is one of the most beautiful places in the world. And she turns to me and says, "What happened to you?" Anyway. Okay. Shouldn't have done that. That doesn't do anything, Alyssa. Why are you charging up so much? I don't understand. Let's stick with this girl for a little bit longer. I'm getting trash to start with. It's not fair to me. Give me whole ball, please. Whole ball. Now I'm charged up. What do I do? I can't just attack. Does it have to be a combo? Okay, she just hit me with something. I still didn't... Oh, I'm just tapping the rotate button. I guess that's how you do it? Earl, what did you do? Let's try this girl. There's a little devlog on this game here. Toryumon, 2015-0305. I wonder how many people know about Toryumon. This is the third-party work that was released to the world with support from AM1 Lab. I don't remember exactly when it was shipped, but I think it was late summer or fall of 1994. Apparently, it was a project brought to us by a company run by an acquaintance of a prominent person at Sega. I was sent to AM1 Lab to ask them to help me, but the company seemed to have little experience in game development. Around this time, there were a lot of small software houses that thought, if it's a falling object puzzle, it looks easy and they can probably make it. The processing of Ochimono is often very simple, but it's not that sweet. Ochimono have a certain shape, so it becomes a battle of ideas, and the competition of ideas is the most difficult of all. This is where experience matters. It's not sweet either. Toryumon seemed to have aimed to be a Puyo Puyo-like game from the beginning. If you've seen the game, you'll understand. Computer characters appear, perform manzai, and compete against each other. However, at the time of the proposal, the game's content was completely broken. Since it's an Ochimono, the important thing is how to eliminate it. If you combine these to make a circle, the 4 blocks that made the circle up will disappear. It's a subtype of Puyo Puyo that disappears when you combine 4 of them. I disagree. Well, the whole thing is an imitation of Puyo Puyo. However, the most important method of erasing falling items is different. Just looking at the proposal, there doesn't seem to be much of a problem. When you actually make it, you will find that there are many problems. In Puyo Puyo, only the color of the entire block was important. However, at Toryumon, the 4 corners are important. Without rotating the 4 corners of the block, it becomes almost impossible to arrange the pattern to create a circle. However, not only the pattern, but the pairs of blocks rotate together. Another problem that there is almost no way to clear stacked up blocks. There is a block with only one pattern on it. If you accidentally press the pattern against the wall, you'll never be able to erase it. Blocks that cannot be erased are the same as walls, so if you increase the number of walls, you will end up with blocks that cannot be erased forever. If you think about the root of the problem, you will find that the problem lies in the combination of blocks. In Puyo Puyo, there were 6 colors of block. This falls in pairs, so there are 6 times 6 equals 36 patterns of block. There are 36 types because they can be separated, but when weighting, a probability of 1/6 may be good. In Tetris, 4 blocks stick to the wall and fall, but this shape has 7 patterns. The probability of weighting is also 1/7. At Toryumon, blocks are formed by combinations of patterns on the 4 corners of one block, with or without patterns, so there are 16 types. Since these fall in pairs, there are 256 different block shapes when they fall. Even if it can be separated, the weighting probability is 1/16. And as I wrote earlier, it is difficult to freely erase the blocks that you have accumulated while waiting. When the first person arrived, the person in charge of AM1 Labs apparently returned a report detailing what the problem was, saying that it was, quote, not a game, unquote. When a block is erased, the blocks in the 8 squares adjacent to the 4 blocks that disappear will have a quarter circle in the position closest to the circle made to erase them, regardless of the previous state. This made it much easier to chain together. We know that if we fill it with trash, half circles will still form, so all we need to do is tie in the remaining half circles together in a chain. The object of the game is to make a circle, but in most cases a half circle is sufficient. Finally, if you make just a circle in one place, the rest will chain automatically. In this version, I was able to play the game endlessly until the ending with this strategy. Once you realize it, anyone can play for 30 minutes for 100 yen. The puzzle-like nature of building blocks has been lost, and the game now has a very strong sense of work. To put it simply, it's boring. Considering the store's profitability, it was said that the average playing time for a 100 yen game should be 3 minutes. Please adjust the difficulty so that one game can be completed in about 3 minutes. The response to this was surprising. If you want to finish it in 3 minutes, is it okay to provide a timer and force it to end after 3 minutes? That's not a game. The person in charge was taken aback completely and complained to those around him about what he should say. In the end, I explained at length how important difficulty adjustment is for arcade games, starting with the obvious thing like adjusting the difficulty based on the strength of the enemy, and they seemed to understand. In the next version, the enemies gradually became stronger as you won. However, as I wrote earlier, this puzzle game is a failure as a puzzle. Since it's not a puzzle, you can't adjust the difficulty by improving the enemy's head. But I can guess I can't attack without forming a certain chain, but the enemy would rain down a huge number of disturbances every time I erased one. The person in charge was also worried about this, but eventually he got over it and said it was enough. In the end, the game should have been released after confirming the required specifications were correct, that there were no fatal bugs, without having any further opinions on the game's content. Perhaps it was thought this game would not sell at the time of planning, and the title was to clean up System 16's inventory. Ewan, thank you so much for finding this. I know I just took up a bunch of your time reading through somebody's devlog, but to me this is incredible.
Ooh.
Easy. Old man, why'd you have to kick my ass? I didn't expect to learn on this stream that I don't know how to make a circle. Old man, why'd you have to kick my ass? I'm a lot like you were. Don't tase me! Shit. Maybe I haven't pondered my orb enough. I don't know. Okay. During a large enough combo, you can tap the rotate button repeatedly to kill, I guess? The place in the back has gotten bigger. Alright, I'm gonna try to enter the big door now. Here we go through the big door. Oh, it just worked. Hi, buddy! Cute noises. Alright, I'm gonna enter the big door that's shaped like a lady. Oh no. Whoa, the drop speed. That was very intense. It's a low gate again. Why is that? What do you think he's saying? Pretty good. So a while back, a user on the Puzzle Wednesday Discord reached out to me and said, "Hey, whenever you play Toryumon, let me know. It's time." All right, you got me, but I'm gonna get you in the run back. We're running it back. What are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? No! No! Oh my god, no! What? Jeez. Running it back! Running it back! Let me do anything, man! Ah! No, stop! Fuck! I want to be the hot lady. Don't pick that guy, please. Oh, alright. Look, I know you're building up a huge, disgusting chain, and I'm a little worried about it. I'm more than a little worried about it, actually. Uh-huh. 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 Sure thing, man. You gonna do it to me again? Are you really gonna do it to me again? Folks, you did it to me again. I can't, that's illegible to me. Uh-huh. I gotta stop. I have to stop. This is why you can never trust someone who wants to say a puzzle game. I think you can trust them if you translate what you say as like, hello, I'd like to kick your ass. So Leon, who's very kindly given us this 13 chain dialogue. I guess this functions as sort of a sieve that automatically makes blocks work, which is very cool. Final thoughts on Toryumon. So this game has depth that I didn't expect. One thing that Leon pointed out that I will mention was that the different characters do have slight differences that have nothing to do with their drop tables, but are in fact which kinds of activity are the most effective for them to output. One of them has a stronger 2-chain, for example. And it's one of the few examples of a asymmetrical multiplayer design in puzzle games that doesn't rely on drop tables to make it work, which is great because drop tables suck. Apparently the story mode is very rich. I need to think of a closing line for Toryumon, but I can't. This has been twitch.tv/bedsores, coming to you live from my sick couch in the chronic illness autonomous zone. We've been your host Alyssa, here with our co-host and transcriptionist Earl. Take care and do your best. Somebody just posted a Fortunate Son Eurobeat remix with a train multi-track drifting over Henry Kissinger's corpse.
Henry Kissinger has died today.
Come out, ye black and tans, Eurobeat music? Who is this guy? Which side are you on, Eurobeat remix? This is very good, but Jay wants to hear Come Out, Ye Black and Tans.
Buckingham Palace announced the death of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
The Bella Ciao Eurobeat remix?
على عهدي على ديني على أرض تلاقيني أنا نهلي أنا فديهم أنا دمي فلسطيني 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 أنا دمي فلسطيني على أرض تلاقيني.
Goodbye to YouTube. Goodbye to everything that I YouTube. Hot lady.